Alright, welcome back to the stream. I'm going to be going through getting my Umas up to speed in career mode. Just going to be speed running this again. I'm trying to see if I can get a UFA Champion. Alright, so gonna see which one of these Umas can get us there. Alright, I got my queen recently, so gonna take her out for a test run to see what she can do. Alright. And let's go back and get some additional information on McQueen. Alright, her details. She's a A for pace, B for the front, A for medium, A for long, and A for turf. Alright, can't raise the potential on McQueen. And her career information. She does have the long 3,000 meter race plus a 3,200 meter race. So two of the longest races McQueen has. Her stamina is 110, so that's a good starting place. Gonna need to get her stamina up and her power up, and speed's gotta match in order to do a good run with McQueen. Alright, let's auto select, include guess. Okay, we're boosted in stamina, boosted in speed, but not boosted in power. Guts and wit. Alright, let's see where she actually has her boost. So her boost is in stamina and power, so yeah, with that we'll still be fine. So we'll continue to go there. Auto select here. Prioritize event support. Okay. We'll start the career with McQueen. Alright. So our inspiration at the beginning for McQueen: 17 speed, 5 stamina, 5 guts, wit, and we get 2 hints on victory, shooting for victory. Alright, so we have 11 turns to keep training, so we're gonna go with power first. Speed. Now's a good time to probably go with wit. Alright, so now is probably a good time to go with wit. So if we're gonna go with wit, let's go with it now. Okay. Alright, speed went up by 10. We're gonna go up on speed again. Okay, right about here. We're gonna go ahead and do recreation. Our energy's low, but hopefully we can get a little bit of energy back with recreation, and our mood goes up to good. So alright, we're gonna go with power. Failure rate's only 13%. Okay, got a little boost in power again. Right here we're gonna rest with a few more days to go. Alright. Get some more energy. We're going to go with power again. Alright. We're going to go up on stamina. Go up on speed again. And our last opportunity, we're going to spend it on wit. Alright, so we're coming up on our first race now. The junior make debut for McQueen. We're not going to spend any skill points right away. Alright, so it's our debut, 2,000 meters, medium race, heavy showers. Alright. Alright, heavy rain. So let's see what she can do. Alright, we're in the 6th position. About halfway through the race, 1,400 meters left. Starting to make our move now. On this straightaway, going into the last corner. Going into the last curve. Alright, so she makes her move, coming around the last corner. And there we have it. We have first place for us. Alright, by 5 lengths, so by a decent amount. That's going to get us 942 additional fans. Alright, met our first goal with ease. So now we're going to try to see if we can get to 3,000 fans in the next 12 turns. Alright, we're going to go with guts. Alright, we're going to go ahead and rest here. Lungs and heart. Alright, our energy level is up. Our mood is good. Now will be a good time for a race. We still got 2,057 more fans that we need before we can qualify to meet our next goal. So we're going to go with the Cosmos show. Because that's a mile race. Okay. And we finished 14th. So that was dead last. Able to get 40. Alright. 40 new fans. Okay. Alright, so definitely gonna need to keep training. Speed. We're gonna go speed again. All right. Let's see what skills we can purchase right here. I'm gonna go with shooting for victory. To help us out. That's the skill we just learned. Alright, medium and longs are usually better races for us, so let's see if we can get a medium or a long race. We have a medium right here, so we'll go with that one. Double star, so that's preferred. Alright, we're gonna run that one. Alright, we came in first place on the Fuyo Stakes. Alright, so that should help us get some fans. Alright, so we got an additional 2,072 fans. That should get us close to the amount that we need. Actually, that just helped us achieve that goal. Alright, so we're going to rest on this turn. And we're going to keep training. Alright, our mood got to great. We're going to go with speed again. Gonna go with stamina. I'm gonna go with wit. We're gonna need to rest. All right. And we're gonna go up on speed again. Alright, so we reached that goal of 3,000. Now we have to place third, top 3 in a G2. Alright. Looking towards the future, we still have a 3,000 race after this, followed by a 3,200. So definitely going to need to get our stamina up some more. Get that power up. If we can keep our stamina and our power up, we should be pretty good. Alright, let's see if there's a race for us. Yep. There's a G3 out there that's a mile long. We don't want that though, so we're going to keep training. We're going to go with wit to recover some energy. Alright, let's see if there's... Alright, there's the Samurai Stakes. That's available. We're going to run that. Alright, let's actually go into this race and see what we can do. Alright, we're favorites in this race also. Alright, this is 2,200. Let's see how we do. This is an increase in the amount. Alright, we're gonna need some skills to get us higher with this pace. Alright, we're currently in third. At the halfway point of the race. 1,200 meters left. And we're in pretty good position. Alright, activated our shooting for victory ability. Alright, we came in first. Alright, another win for McQueen. And this was a G3 that net us basically 2,700. More fans. Alright, got us 34 more skill points. Okay. And so we're having friendship training with the bigger boost now. Alright, we're going to go ahead and rest. Alright, we'll take it. We got some inspiration coming our way. Alright, so we're going to go with that inspiration. Okay, went up 23 on speed. Not much on anything else. Alright, let's get to level 2 on stamina. Alright, now we're level 2 stamina. Alright, I'm going to go with stamina again. Friendship training now with stamina. And we're getting some additional hints for ramp up. So I'm going to go ahead and rest. Alright, and let's see what we can do if we can find. There's a G1 out there. The Japanese Oaks, we're going to go with that. Test to see where we're at. That's a 2,400 meter race. Alright, Measure McQueen. Let's see what she can do on this 2,400 in the Japanese Oaks. I don't think I've ran this with any other Uma yet. Alright, got a late start out the blocks. Alright, finally getting into better position. Alright, coming up on the 1,200 meter mark. Alright, coming around the last corner. Activated our skill. Alright. It's us and one other Uma. See if we can maintain. And we just got past. Almost got past, so we ended up coming in second place. Alright, we nudged them out for second place. BY ended up beating us, and Air Groove almost edged us at the end. But second place, not bad positioning. And now we have a whole lot more skill points. We're gonna dump it into stamina. Which Alright, guts. Alright, rest and recreation for us. Alright, you can go with stamina again. Alright, this should get our stamina up over 300. Alright, so to add to our power, stamina again. Alright, we're gonna have to go to the infirmary. Alright, that cured our condition, that however did not cure our mood. Alright, I'm gonna go with Unruffle. And that gets us Unruffle and Calm in the Crowd. Learn both of those skills. Alright, it's race day for the Kobe Shimbun Ha. Alright, let's race. See if we can get another top 3 finish. We're gonna have to get a top 3 finish in this G2 in order to keep it going. Alright. We're in prime position, being in 3rd place. We're a pace chaser. And this is a fairly long race. 1,800 meters left, 1,600, 1,400, 1,200. And we definitely have enough stamina to take us to the end. We're starting to make our move now. Coming around that last corner. Just have to run through the tape, and we are first. Alright, got a G2 win for McQueen. And if you are enjoying what you're seeing, feel free to give me a follow. This is day 6 with these Umas. Yeah, we're starting to do better and better. And we got our top 3. Our next is the long race. Alright. We're going to go up in speed. Okay. This is going to be one of our tougher races. It's G1 and it's 3,000 meters. So let's see if there's a skill that we can get to help us. We're going to go with firm ground as a skill we need to learn before this race. Alright. The Kukuka Show, 3,000 meters long. Alright. So we're going to go in our usual pace position, see if we can top 3 that. If not, then the next race we'll move into the late position to save on energy. But our stamina should be decent, but it might not be enough. Alright, we're second favorite in this G1. Let's see if we can live up to the billing. Okay, we're about 600 meters in. About at the halfway point. Still in about 8th place. Still on that back straightaway. And unfortunately, it looks like we're fading fast. Yep, look like we're gonna finish last or second to last. Okay, so this time we're gonna try from the late position to save some energy. Although we're D. That should help conserve energy. Basically the same positioning as the last race, but we don't have to run as hard as a pace chaser. And we're going to be up there with the late. Alright. And we're improving. Our skill kicked in. We're up to 3rd place. And we ended up finishing 2nd. Alright, so switching from pace to late paid off big time for us. Alright. We're at the silver level now. We picked up 6,200 fans. Okay. We have the tennis show next. The tennis show spring. Alright, that one is 3,200 meters. Alright, so we're gonna go to the infirmary, cure what's ailing us right quick. Alright. We're gonna go up on power. We're gonna go up on speed. Gain some more energy back. Gonna go up on wit. To get back some more energy. Alright, we're gonna go with speed again. And we're managing to maintain our energy. Okay. I need to go back to the infirmary. Alright, we're cured. Alright. Get our stamina up. Alright, we're gonna go with recreation, get our mood back in a decent place. Alright, and now we get a chance to do the claw machine. Okay. Lost on the first chance. Try again. That's my first time winning with the claw machine. Definitely a first. Alright, let's try again. Okay. Did get at least one prize with the claw machine. Alright, that helped get our mood up. Alright, add more speed to our training. More stamina to our training. Alright, we get a little inspiration before this big race. And one last speed training. Our mood went down again. See about adding a skill. Prudent positioning. Alright, we got to finish first in this race. Alright, and this is the 3200 G1. Alright, we're in the late position. Let's see how we do with this first run. Alright. Couple horses took off early, but we'll reel them back in. Currently in the 13th position, but still have a long way to go. Not even at the halfway point. Just made it to the halfway position now. We're pretty far back, however. It's going to take a lot to get to first from here. Don't believe we'll be able to do that. Coming around the last straightaway. We're climbing, but not enough. Alright, let's try that again. We end up finishing 6th, but we started too far back. Alright, need McQueen to do better in the early parts of the race and the mid part of the race. Alright, our mood improved from awful to bad. So, hopefully that helps. Alright, so far we're in a little bit better position than the last race. And we're climbing earlier, up to 9th at the halfway point. Fading back a little, but still in way better position than before. Up to 10th, now 8th. Alright. End up finishing 5th. It's that mid-race part that's hurting us. If we get a good start, we need to stay closer to the pace. If we want to do anything. And we have to finish first, that or our career is going to be over. We're going to have to just start again. Alright, pretty much the same position as last race for now. Actually falling further back than last time. At the halfway point, this is where we need to start making our move if we want to continue. Alright, doesn't look like that's happening for us. So it looks like our career is about to be over. Making our move, but too little, too late. Alright, so we end up finishing 11th. That was our worst one. So McQueen's a little bit harder to build with. Alright, so that's the end of her career. Gonna need to try and work out with somebody else. What else is going on? Alright, that's our first time running with her. Alright, won 4 races. Alright, we're gonna run it back with her again. See if there's anything we can do different. See if we can max out any of these scouting cards. Alright, we have 17,000 carrots. Alright, we're gonna go with one of these. And we've already pulled one of those. Alright. Alright, we'll pull 10. Alright, got 8 new cards. Okay, not terrible. Alright, let's try if we can pull a new Uma. Alright, we were able to pull El Condor Pasa. So, change of plans. We're gonna run with El Condor Pasa instead of running with McQueen. Okay, let's see if there's anything we can do at potential level. Okay. Okay, we're gonna go with El Condor Pasa. Alright, so pace and late. That requires power and stamina. Okay. We have speed. Okay. And let's start our career with her and see how we do. Okay. 17 on speed, 5 on stamina, 5 on guts, 10 on wit. Shooting for victory. Alright, we're going to go with speed. Speed. Keep going with speed. And we're going to go ahead and rest. Alright, speed again. And then we're going to distribute each of the other categories. We're going to go stamina. We're going to go wit. We're going to go ahead and rest. We're going to go with power. And now we're going to go with guts. And see how we do in our junior debut make. And we're going to skip skills until after the race to see exactly where we are. Alright. And let's see where she placed. Alright, first place. By 5 lengths. Alright, we're up to 922 new fans. Alright, we have a G3 next, 14 turns. In order to run that G3, we're going to need more fans. Alright. We have a race after today that we're going to schedule. And as of today, we're going to go up on stamina. Alright. We're going to run in this junior stakes. Shokyo Junior Stakes. Alright. Let's see how we do in that. Second place. And that's going to get us 841 more fans. And 34 more skill points. We're going to go ahead and rest now. We have 230 skill points. We'll use it when it gets closer to 300. Alright, so we're going to go with speed again. We're going to go with speed one more time. And now we're going to check to see where our bonuses are again, because I kind of forgot where they were. Alright, so we have a bonus on speed and wit. Alright, so going to go with wit here. Alright, more power. Alright, so now we're going to rest. Alright, and we're going to race again. Here's a G2. Let's see how we fare in the G2 since our next race is a G1 if I'm correct. Well, G2 should give us a good grasp of where we're at with our actual skills. Okay, currently in third. Alright, so we're a pace chaser. Alright, coming into the last corner. We're currently in sixth. Alright, now we're racing towards the front. And we finished third. Alright, so we'll need to focus a little bit more on power, because we could not break through the pack. Power and wit will help us. Wit'll definitely help us maneuver through the pack. Alright. Alright, more on wit. Alright, we haven't touched guts in a while. Alright, we're gonna rest. Alright, and let's go with guts again. Alright, this is going to give us 334 points. Alright, and let's see what's our position. Pace. Alright, so let's see if we can find a pace skill. Straightaway. Ramp up. So we'll go with those two skills before this upcoming race and see how we do. See if that's going to help us get top 5 in this race. Alright. A lot of pace and late, so it's going to be crowded at the start of the race all the way through the final turn. Alright. Currently in second, using that pace chaser straightaway skill early to make sure that front runner doesn't get away from us. Alright, coming into the final turn, using our skill to pass and finish strong. Alright, so we got about another 5,000 fans. We finished first in this G3. Alright, that's going to help our stats go a long way. Alright, so we have 5 turns now to do our best on this NHK mile. Okay, so we're going to continue training for speed. Okay, training, we're going to go back with wit. Alright, we're going to go speed again. Alright, here's our inspiration we were looking for. Alright, let's go. Let's see what we get on this inspiration. Alright, we went 23 up on speed, 16 up on stamina. Alright, we're going to go with speed again. That's a success. Got a rest. Our mood went up to great. Okay. Okay. I think we're okay. Let's see, this is a G1 race. Alright, so let's go ahead and spend that money on skills. Shooting for victory. We're gonna go with that. It's a big jump from a G3 to a G1. Alright, and this is a mile race in heavy rain. We're gonna need a lot to go our way in order to win. So here's all the preparation, making sure that all the skills and work and training we did paid off. Alright, climbing uphill. 800 meters left. Currently in 5th position, 6. Alright, and we ended up finishing either 2nd or 3rd. Alright, end up finishing 2nd with that last burst. Just behind Maruzensky. Alright, so top 5 met that goal. Japanese Derby's next. And we're gonna run the Japanese Derby immediately. Another G1, this time it's 2400, completely different discipline. Instead of a mile, this is a medium. Alright, let's see if we can do it from the pace position for this Japanese Derby. Alright, we're mid-pack right now. Hopefully one of our skills kick in. We're going uphill. But we're coming off of a back-to-back race, so... Alright, a couple skills just kicked in. But we had dropped all the way back to 13. Alright, so we're going to try again. Alright, still going to go with pace. If pace doesn't work this time, then we're going to go with late next. I got a late start, but made it back up towards the front of the pace chasers, falling back a little bit, but going uphill, managing to maintain my position. All right, one of our acceleration skills kicked in. But not enough stamina to pull it off. Alright, so That was 13th place. Alright, so we're going to switch it up. And we're going to go to late. We're also A and late. That way we can conserve some energy on the front half of the race. And make our push about the last 600 meters. And if we can make our push the last 600 meters, that'll help us. Pretty much in the same position as before. However, we end up using less stamina and end up finishing top 5. Exactly 5th. Alright, because our stamina is low, we've mainly been going into speed and not stamina. Probably gonna need to start boosting stamina as well as just push from the late position instead of the pace chaser position. Alright, got 8 turns till the next run. Alright, that's 1800. The following race after that's 2200. So keep mixing disciplines. When neither one of those two races are going to be as long as the Japanese Derby that we just did. Alright, so let's go up on guts. Alright. Gonna go with rest and relaxation. A little rest and recreation will help. I'm gonna go back up on speed. Speed again. We're going to go ahead and rest. We're going to go with power. Need to get power to at least a level 2 if possible. Alright, we're going to go with the calm in the crowd scale. Since we have this 1800 meter race followed by a 2200 meter race, didn't want to specialize in medium or in mile right now. And this is a G2. So that should favor us a little bit. Alright, we're going to keep the late position that we switched to for the last race during the Japanese Derby. And using one of those ramp up skills early to maintain our position. And we're showing why we did speed. Almost won at the end. Actually, we did win at the end. Was able to get around that last horse and beat her by a neck. Alright, so now we're up to silver tier. Okay, we got 16 turns until our next race. I'm gonna go ahead and take a quick restroom break. Right quick. And I'll be back. Alright. Back. Alright, so 16 turns to finish first in a 2200. So we're going to go up. On power. Recreation, we're going to go back up. We're in a rest. And let's find This is a G1 race, so let's look for some G2s and G3s that we can prep for. Here's a G2, that's 32, that's 3600, that's way too long. Here's a G1, that's 1800, a G3, that's 2000. So we're gonna go with this G3, that's 2000, the Challenge Cup, and see how we fare. Still gonna go with the late strategy. It's been working for us now. And because this is G3, this should be a little bit easier for us. We don't need to use as many skills in order to still win. I don't even think we used a skill in order to win. And the reason we're running these races, although we don't need to, is to get more fans, as well as increase the number of skill points we have. So we just went up 40 on the skill points. Alright, going to go power one last time. We're going to go guts, take that over 100, take that over 200. Alright. We're going to go stamina, take that over 200. Alright, we're going to go with speed. We're going to rest this turn. We're going to go wit. Alright, so there's a G2. There's a G2 2500, so we're going to go with that G2. See how we fare with that 2500. It's a little bit longer than the 2200. We can see what kind of strategy we can use and how we look at the end. So basically just for scouting purposes at this point. Check to see how we're doing. Okay. Quite far. Starting to make our move at the halfway point of the race. 1,200 meters remaining. 1,000 meters. 800 meters. 600 meters. Alright, now we're starting to make our move. And we were able to win that. Alright, another G2 win, more trophies, more fans. And here comes the inspiration that we need. Alright, went up on 14 on speed, 4 on guts. Okay. We're gonna rest here. I'm gonna go up on speed. And it's a friendship training with speed. So our speed went up 26, power went up 10. Gonna go again. Speed went up 26, power went up 10. Speed went up 19. And we're gonna go with wit. Our wit went up 19. We have 218 points, so we're gonna add we're gonna add red shift. And we're gonna add target in sight. And we're gonna add target in sight. So 2 skills added. Alright, we need first place in this race. 15k fans up for grabs. Alright. 10 people is in front or pace. Alright, so there's gonna have to get around a lot of people towards the end in order to win. Let's see if the training we did help. And we're off. Alright, using our ramp up skill fairly early. Using our shoot for victory skill. Again, the top 5, top 3. And now it's just a race to the finish. See who has the top speed. And that'll be us. Another G1 victory. The first time when we needed it. Ridiculous front flip. Let you know we're number 1. Got another 19k fans. We're up to gold status. Alright, 9 turns till the Japanese Cup, it looks like. Alright, 2,400 meters. Okay. Just want to do what we've been doing. Speed training. Rest and recreation right here. Alright. More speed training. More rest. Alright. Let's see if we can do a 2,400. Alright, there's a 2,000 that we can run. So let's check this out, see how we are. It's a G2 G3. It's a G3 race, so should be an easy victory. But we want to buy a few more, we want to buy at least one more skill before that Japan Cup. And we're pulling up, we're using just about all our skills since we got that late start. And we're coming around the outside. And red shift kicked in. And we were able to blow the competition away. Alright, by 8th lengths. Guess another 5,600 fans. Just need to rest. Alright. Go at speed. Gotta go with speed again. Speed one more time. Get a friendship training at the end. Alright, we made it to B+. See if we have enough for another skill. Lay low. Alright. We're gonna go with lay low skill in order to conserve some energy. This is a 2,400 meter race. That's one of the longer ones we've done. And we need to come in first place, and it says heavy rain. Alright, so we have a lot going on with this race. Okay. Alright. Use one of our first skills early. Targeted sight. Use another ramp up skill. This is going uphill. That ramp up skill is going to help us build up that momentum that we need. Alright, shooting for victory. Currently in 5th place. Alright, was not enough. End up finishing in 5th place. Alright, we have to finish in 1st place, so gonna rerun this. Another shot at first. Just need to make sure don't get caught up in that jam of horses. If we can pass somebody going into this curve. Alright. We started passing, then we fell off completely. End up finishing second to last. Alright, so that's going to be it for that campaign. And we spent all our points. That was our first run with Condor Pasa. And got to see with her. Alright, got 2 stars for speed, got 2 stars for turf. I think that's our first 2-star. And won 7 out of our 12 races. Alright. Alright. G1 winner. Alright, so let's collect our winnings. And that's pretty much going to be it for my stream today. I'll be back tomorrow. But if you like what you saw, go ahead and give me a follow. I'd appreciate it. This is day 6 on Kick and YouTube with this horse racing. And we can edit our team a little bit. Alright, approaching D rank. Alright. And that's going to be it for the stream for today. I'll see you guys again tomorrow.